join the parade or get squashed.
Yeah, it just keeps getting better. So just out of the gate, the join the parade and be a big man, blow off some steam, that whole anonymity of like, right? You're protected. If you join, you can just, the worst in you, it's okay, right? We've got you covered. Come here and be the worst you can be. No inhibition.
There's a parade once a year that goes through town. Every town's got one, but it was considered cheesy. None of it was political. Definitely not political. Definitely not religious. But then you go to somewhere like Northern Ireland, you're going to get really political parades where they have to keep both sides apart. And protest is quite common in England. It's like pretty protected. I know Americans think that Europe is like locked down, no freedom, but they if people want to protest, and they will facilitate it. Saying that's got a bit crazy lately.
Yeah, when you have a mass of people, like it's interesting when you get into those situations of like being in large groups and like feeling the dynamic change. It's like a physical energy that it's like, even for everybody, it's kind of this collective where it's like, it feels totally different than, watching it or anything else. Like when you're there among it,
Person,
it's just it's really interesting and kind of terrifying in its own way.
Yeah,
Kind of that loss of self and kind of your own discretion. Because the waves are so big that just things are happening, and it's just kind of like, oh, we're all doing this. Oh, we're all doing this. And it's kind of difficult to, pick apart where you end and the next person begins.
What strikes me about that one is that any side of any argument could claim that song as pointing out the foibles of the other side.
Wow. There are two big other songs come to my mind right now. One is we just recently listened to Kevin Gilbert's Shaming of the True. And one of the very first songs is a sort of Join the Parade song, and Joining the Parade is where things like sort of start to go wrong in his journey. Thanks. So because of you, that came to my head. And then another one is, do you know the singer Phil Oakes? But he has a song called One More Parade that I think is worth listening to. That has very similar themes, except for it's about the Vietnam War, I think specifically.
Yeah, I was hearing the it was almost like a Join Ice promo.
Yeah.
Right. And but I keep going back. He draws parallels to obviously Germany in the 1930s and Japan in the 1930s, and one of the and that gets thrown around a lot. But Jon Stewart a couple weeks ago pointed out a really good reminder that one of the key differences between what the Nazis did in the 1930s and what our current administration, the biggest difference is the Nazis were actually popular leading up to the war. And this administration is the data tells us otherwise. That's one of the things that I'm clinging to hope on, that we won't go down that path, because so many people are resisting in so many different ways that they weren't resisting and applauding in many ways in the 1930s.
I've got mixed views on this. Like the whole thing of joining a side. Obviously, when things are bad enough, you have to stand together. But like, you get people that will say both sides are just as bad, and blah blah blah, and then but look at where we are now. There's this whole thing of not just piling on a parade mindlessly, but like sometimes you have to pick a side. Doesn't mean you have to be a mindless mob, but you have to pick a side.
All that resentment that was built up, all those things you wanted to say but were taught to be too polite to say it, we got you covered.
My first thought was a lynch mob.
Yeah.
You have a group of people, and you become anonymous in the mob, in the group, but you can still say what you want or what you mean, and you become a voice, and you can become kind of stronger with a group than as an individual. You can be shouted down, but grab your hat, and get your gun. Make this zone feel safe again. It's and the militarism, I mean, is just pervasive. I mean, it's just humongous. The militarist state. I mean, we will rule, we will control.
That whole idea of let the voice of the few be the voice of the many. Like we follow. There's not that really that many people that believe this thing, but they have a loud microphone or whatever.
But we can't forget we can't lose the lessons of the 30s at all. I mean, that song's that's a great reminder of how that stuff starts. It's like, hey, this is just a parade. Come join the parade, right?
But when the conspiracy is the mainstream, it's not a conspiracy. It's just modern political warfare, isn't it?
Well, it's whole narrative, right? You're the victim. You've been shit on. This world would be so much better if the people who don't look like you didn't exist, or if they do exist, they don't let them in here. The thing that gets me though, is that how did it get so intertwined with the Christian narrative? Like, how did that happen when everything that stands out to me with the Christian story turns that power game on its head? And I know there's some problematic things about it. I get all that, but the large message of that Christian story is die to self, right? Reach out to the stranger. And yet that movement seemed primed to hear this.
As you were talking, I was thinking about that scene in To Kill a Mockingbird, where they're all kind of gathering, and Anticus is there, and then Scout shows up, and she says, "Well, Mr. Harrison, Mr. Johnson, it's like all of you now are named. You're no longer part of the mob.
Yeah.
You're individuals. Why are you going along with this?" I mean, that was kind of the thought I remember having. To your point, Jesse, the mob is the anonymous kind of. You can say what you want. You can be 10 foot tall. But when you're named and called out, it's like, what am I doing here?
And you do things in a mob you'd never do alone.
Right,
too,
exactly.
right.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're gonna. In fact, next thing you know, you're chanting something you don't even know how you got there. And so there is a frenzy.
Yeah. I mean, from my vantage point, I don't think the American people are nearly as racist and xenophobic and hateful as a handful of people seem to make them out to be. And part of what makes me think that is how many people stand up and push back and say no, knowing that there are lots more people who, for whatever reasons, can't get up and speak in the same way. Right? So that's my vantage point. But I can imagine that there are people from a different perspective who would be like, you know, there's only a few people that really want to welcome in those, you know, those foreigners, but really most Americans want to keep our borders safe or something like that, right?
And also I think that you are prime victims for that if you are using your religion to keep the world small and to avoid confronting yourself or complexity, right? Like you're just waiting for somebody to come along and use that.
I think that sometimes people reveal their true colors in a crowd. And I think sometimes people want to belong, even if that's maybe not what they really believe. Or if you were in a one-on-one conversation, they might be more nuanced and less like black and white and angry or whatever, you know, doctrinaire. But other people, if you're having a one-on-one conversation, will just BS you, you know, and say what you want to hear. But if put in a crowd, they'll actually say what they think and mean.
Right? Bonsai, right? And how do you go from that kind of religious impulse, stop thinking, follow your God emperor, and what are you going to do with this? We're going to rule the world. Like it's not enough now to get mine. I got to make sure that nobody else has anything. I want it all.
Was that first image that was shown, was that a parade in America with Nazi flags? Yikes. Because several of the pictures were in Germany, but it looked like at least a handful of them. Golly.